with us Lydia Efata. Lydia comes with a wealth of knowledge in the space of how organizations can be able to become better, how individuals can be able to become better. She's an executive certified coach, and that's a nice way of saying that she can help you as an individual become better. She's a member of the famed John Maxwell team, and she comes here with a wealth of knowledge from that team. And she's a lady who is passionate about helping people get better in their lives. Lydia, we're very honored that you have taken off time to come and share with us today. I do know she's also a teacher, so she will enjoy the class as you share with us today. Lydia, so honored, and thank you so much for taking off time. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Ronald, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to this session and ask that you allow me to share my screen for the next few minutes. Hopefully, I will manage to keep you engaged and interested as well. Okay. Just a confirmation, Ronald, that you can see my screen.
Yeah, I believe everyone else can. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to yet another of the Business Recovery series. And this one is on how to maximize your employees' potential. As introduced, my name is Lydia Kasibante Efata. I'm the lead coach at Aritanian Corporate Education, and like Ronald said, coaching is my passion. Just working with other people to see exactly how to make them better. So that is what I do on a daily, and that is exactly what I'm passionate about. So we're going to spend some time talking about how we can create a long-lasting business. Okay. And in order to do this, you have to invest in your employees' professional growth and their personal development. So join me as we take a deep dive into the approaches that can help you create a healthy working environment where people can boost their skills and bring value to your business. So let's start off with a few statistics, okay? And these are just going to show us the stark reality of how things are in the business world. 94% of employees would stay at a company if it invested in their career. 56% of employees would take a course suggested by their manager. 70% of employees indicated that job-related training and development opportunities influenced their decision to stay at a job. One reason employees feel held back from learning is because they do not have enough time. 74% of employees felt they were not achieving their full potential due to a lack of development opportunities. And the last statistic is my favorite one. 75% of employees will be millennials by 2025. 75% in the next 3 years, they will be millennials. So, as a manager, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, if you're sitting on a board, whatever responsibility it is that you have for an organization, you need to ensure that you are creating a healthy working environment for your staff. Okay? We all know that the average person, especially here in Uganda, spends more of their time at the workplace than any other place. Okay. And so as business leaders, as owners, as managers, what are we doing to ensure that we focus on increasing, that we focus on increase, on growth, on development in both the professional and personal arenas of our staff? So as we go through this presentation, we'll look at cultural inculcation. This is all under the heading of creating a healthy working environment. We'll look at training and further studies, mentoring and coaching, stretch targets, workplace aesthetics, recognition and reward, and trust. These 7 elements will help you create an environment in which your staff, in which your employees feel that they're able to thrive, to blossom, to maximize their potential. And you'll see it in the value that they then begin to bring into your business. Okay. It's not going to be anything major in terms of cost, because we need to be conscious of the times that we're in. Everything has gotten more difficult in the financial ratings, but I'm going to give you a few things that you can do even now, okay, to see that you enable your employees to feel that the working environment they're in allows them to maximize their potential. So let's start with cultural inculcation. I'm sure that in past series, under the Business Recovery series program, we have spoken about vision, mission, and core values. So it's important as an organization, as a person at the helm of an organization, to know what are your organization's core values. How are you ensuring that the people in your organization get the gist of these, your core values, okay? What are you doing to ensure that your staff are actually living out the core values that you want your organization to embody? Okay, and you know, this should never be underlooked, okay, because this is what you want people to know you about. We spend time coming up with these core values. It's not just something you pick up from the dictionary. You actually think through these core values, and so it's important that you get your staff to live out these core values every day. And then there's the associated views of the organization, okay? And these are, what do people know the organization for, okay? How do people both internally and externally view your organization? In Uganda, there's a word that loosely translated would be core values, or yeah, it would be core values, and that's the word enono. Okay, what are your core values, and what is your organization known for? When we speak about the associated views of the organization, these are normally attributes of the business leader, okay? The person that this organization is known for. So we have people here from cleaning companies, from agricultural and agro-processing companies, from food companies. You know, all of you have attributes, characteristics that people know you for, okay? So is it that you're time conscious? Is it that you're hardworking? Is it that you persevere when the going gets tough, that nothing can put you down, right? These are the things over and above your core values. These associated views, these attributes of the business leader are what people both internally and externally will call the associated views of the organization, okay? And most likely, these are also attributes you want to see in your staff, okay? So these are attributes you need to inculcate in your staff. And in so doing, you'll come up with the corporate culture of your organization, right? And how is this helping you to maximize your employees' potential? They're coming together with core values. Okay, they're coming together with attributes that make for a great organization, for a progressive organization. And so it's very important that at the head of your business, as the leader of your business, you are working to create a corporate culture. And of course, the best way to do this is to lead by example. And then we've got learning and development. Professional growth, personal development, have everything to do with these three things. Time. So are you able to give your employees time in the day to pursue some form of structured learning? And there are options that are available, because our next issue is cost. Okay, so the options available online, or you can have physical training. They come both at a cost. Some of them are free. There's several free online trainings that are going on. So there's so much in the realm of learning and development that we can give to our staff, we can give to our employees. And these courses have to come with some form of tracking, so you can see what they're doing, so they can know that you're following up on certain areas they're saying that they are developing in. Because what are we doing? Ultimately, in creating a healthy working environment, we're also boosting and allowing our employees to maximize their potential. It's research shows that just one 30-minute training course a week can make a marked improvement in the performance of an individual, whether it is at work or in sport or in class. 30 minutes of training. So if you allow for your staff to be engaged in these things, you are going to be the one who actually in the end reaps from the time they take doing these courses. When we speak about learning and development, actually further studies comes into play as well. And I ask business leaders that you encourage your staff to pursue further studies, allow them time to sit for examinations, because the organization stands to gain from any employee that is progressing in the education sector. There are clauses that you can add to your employment contracts to protect the organization and make sure that these liberties that you're giving them in terms of study leave are not exploited. Okay, you can look that up with your legal officers, but these things need to be taken up by the organization. Learning and development, give them time. Okay, if they're free courses, excellent, have them sign up. If you can pay for them, even better. But above all, make sure that you are tracking these courses that your employees are doing, whether they're paid for by the organization or by them. Just have a track record of what they're doing. Also to make sure that people aren't saying they're going for study leave and then doing their own things. And then this one is dear to my heart, mentoring and coaching opportunities. The best way to learn is by doing. That's it. The best way to learn is by doing. So when we speak about mentoring, the mentor-mentee relationship is one where, apart from showing the mentee the reins, it would also be good that this is a relationship that is used for succession planning. My dear business leaders, we must always ensure that we are training, mentoring a successor. Okay. And as you mentor these successors, they will ask you questions that you might have glazed over, haven't thought about because you've done it this way over and over again. As you mentor these successors, they will ask you questions, and either these questions will help you concretize concepts that you already have in play, or they might bring to light areas that you can improve. Okay, because as you discuss issues with your mentee, you find that you need to reason out why things are done the way that they are done, because they will ask these things. Okay, so these learning spaces benefit both the mentor and the mentee. It's a symbiotic relationship, both parties benefiting from each other. And of course, with the statistics we have on 75% millennials in the workplace in the next few years, succession planning is key. Okay, we must have someone, one or two people that we are training, that we are guiding, that we are mentoring to take over, when we are not there. And even if it's a family business, because you find many a times that the people on these calls have family-owned businesses, if you are intending for someone in your family to take over, they should be in the business, learning the reins, learning how things operate really, and to give them some street credibility, for lack of a better phrase, street cred within the organization. Now, we'll also talk about coaching, and coaching is the one practice that is grossly undermined. And as a coach, I speak passionately about this because it really does help you achieve your full potential. And I know that sounds like cliche, but it is the truth. Coaching will help you achieve your full potential. And coaching is effective in terms of both productivity and accountability, right? What you find is that anyone who has a coach, okay, whether it be in business, in sport, in culinary skills, in any area of their lives, in health, fitness, anyone who has a coach that is walking this journey with them, you find that they have increased productivity in the area that they have chosen to be coached in. And they also have improved accountability because they need to report back. Okay. The coach's role in any coachee relationship is to constantly steer coaching conversations to things or ideas or actions that are positive and possible. Coaches do not engage in the mire of what the coachee might be going through. Oh, I'm so sad, or this is happening. No, coaches are trained to get you out of a negative mind frame through repeated questioning. And it works like magic. You'll be amazed. People will coach you in areas they have no idea about. But coaches, they're not counselors. They're not therapists. But through the repeated questioning, you find that they're able to get solutions or ways forward for whatever issue you have come presenting to them. Okay? They're able to question you until you yourself come up with a solution, with a way forward of whatever issue you bring into the coaching conversation. So I'd like to encourage you, everybody on this call, there's so many coaches in the Ugandan space now, certified with the International Coaching Federation and other coaching institutions. It's important to find a coach that is certified, just so you know that they have had some training in the area in which, in the coaching arena. And so mentoring and coaching opportunities, to sum up this slide, help with succession planning, increase productivity, and the improved accountability. You will certainly see these within your staff if you allow them these opportunities. Now I'm going to talk about stretch targets. And what are stretch targets? Exactly that. Targets that stretch. They stretch someone. Employees must be encouraged to stretch themselves anywhere, any industry that they're in, even the cleaning industry, fumigation, whatever it is that you are doing. Encourage your employees to stretch themselves and exceed expectations. Stretch targets must be clearly communicated, okay? And what they do is they take people out of their comfort zones. We all know, maybe you've been party to it, maybe you know people who come to work every day, do the bare minimum, go home, get their paycheck at the end of the month, and they're getting by. Those people are in comfort zones. Once stretch targets are clearly communicated, emphasizing outstanding performance, you'll find that employees start to be intentional about this. Okay? They start to innovate and get creative about their work, constantly putting their best foot forward. And these results from the stretch targets should always be put on the employee's track record. I cannot emphasize how important it is to keep a track of things that are going on well with your employees. What it does is it helps you when opportunities come up for promotion, for salary increments. Once you have a track record of what people have been doing, okay, you're able to justify. Sometimes people might come complaining, how come this person's been promoted and not me? I've been here longer. You might have been there longer, but you're in a comfort zone. And then someone new comes in. These millennials that we're expecting come in and they're geared up and they're raring to go, and off they go, achieving their stretch targets. So let's communicate clearly what stretch targets are being given to our employees. Let's keep a good track of them. And remember that these stretch targets should be more difficult than the SMART goals that people are given. The SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. They have to be a little more difficult than that to ensure that you have people working hard and looking to excel in their work. I'll tell you a story of someone I know who everybody thought was really lazy. His position is in an IT space in one of our leading banks here in Uganda. And people just thought he was lazy, but he wasn't lazy. He was in a department where they did the same thing every day, and he just got tired of it. And one day he thought he needed to get out of that comfort zone. So he decided to innovate faster ways of performing these mundane tasks that they had to do every day. That repetitive work, data entry, that sort of thing. And he was recognized in the bank for his achievement. Nobody could believe Mr. Lazy was the one who was receiving an award from the bank. He got a trip out of the country to go and visit other people who were being just as innovative as him. So it's very important that we communicate these stretch targets and allow our employees to get creative. Now, let's talk about workplace aesthetics. What does your office space look like? And I'm not requiring that you go out of your way to do anything expensive. Okay. You might not even need, I think we had someone here in interior design, but you might not even need someone for that. You could get your own staff, to support you with some of the things you can do to make your workplace look more aesthetically appealing to them and to yourself, really. And there's simple things to do, like lighting, okay? Allow for enough light. Light cheers up a place, it boosts moods, Allow some sunlight to come through your office if it is possible. If not possible, then use bright lights, okay? Lighting helps to create a healthy working environment, right? And then let's look at accents. Accents could be the color of a wall, artwork or paintings that you've put up, and in colors that help with your people's performance. And I was doing some research on color psychology, and we've got yellow. Yellow apparently inspires innovation. So if you're in the business where you need to have people, getting creative and innovating, have some yellow accents within their working space. Blue promotes focus. So if you need a space where people must be focused, they need to zone in into customers' accounts, into spreadsheets and that sort of thing, have some blue accents, okay? And also remember to incorporate your organization's colors into the workplace. And then declutter. Remove boxes that are not used, remove papers, anything else that's not needed, okay? Use a clear space, clear pathways, minimizing the clutter on your desk, okay? All of these make for a healthy working environment, and they will help boost and maximize your employees' potential, because the space that they're working in is not filled with all of this clutter. We're moving more and more into cloud storage. So if you have lots of files and lots of paper, let's scan these things and put them into some cloud storage so that we can then put away the files that we have. And like I said, get your employees to work together. Let them create groups, make it a challenge, with an instruction to improve the working space in the most cost-efficient way, and watch them work. I trust you will not be disappointed. Let's talk about recognition and reward. There is nothing more important to a person, not just your employees, not just your staff. There's nothing more important to them than being recognized and rewarded for the effort, the outstanding, the notable effort that they have put in. So we'll start with simple things like encouragement. So as others succeed, you'll find that your other members of staff are encouraged to work harder, to attain the same results as the person that's received the recognition, or even better results, okay? So please, recognition and reward is important, and it encourages your staff to work harder, put their best foot forward, get innovative, get creative, bring their best self to work every single day. Recognition and reward also boost healthy competition. They boost competition, but I'll ask that you find ways to make sure that this competition is healthy. Healthy competition is always a good thing. It forces us to do our best. You've seen people anywhere, whether it's in younger kids, with even us adults, in the workplace, outside the workplace, even just at a friendly family event. Put people into teams and tell them they're competing, and you'll see that everybody is doing their best, okay? So recognition and reward helps to bring this out. And finally, recognition and reward brings about progress, okay? And the progress that comes through recognition and reward, okay, from the encouragement and competition, brings progress at a faster rate than you will expect, okay, than you'd normally expect. Shouting at your people won't bring about this progress. Taking away benefits, that's not going to bring the progress that you're looking for. If you want to bring about progress in your workplace, recognition and reward, which breed encouragement and competition, those are the things that are going to bring faster progress than you actually would imagine. And remember, it doesn't have to be expensive. Even just a mere mention of someone's name in a meeting, recognizing what they did, okay? Or maybe you can treat them to a cup of tea or a meal, okay, as a staff member, or just special mention in a board meeting. These are the things that go a long way, right, to bring about that healthy working environment, that bring about that zeal to work harder every day, because people do revel. They enjoy being recognized for their efforts. And finally, let's talk about trust. As a business leader, as a manager, as a business owner, as a person in authority, everybody that works, all your subordinates, must know that they can trust you. Healthy working environment equals trust of the person at the top. How do you maximize your employees' potential? They must trust you. How do you encourage professional development, personal growth? Your employees must trust you. And how do you show your employees this trust that they are so desperately longing for? You shield and defend. Shield and defend your staff, especially if you're in an organization that has customer interfacing staff. Shield and defend them, okay? Acknowledge if they've made a mistake, take it on as your mistake because you are shielding them, all right? Your staff must believe beyond all doubt that you will always have their back. What this does, it breeds a sense of loyalty that is so great within the organization, okay? So if they've made a mistake, shield and defend them in front of a client, in front of a customer. When you go back to the office, you can give it to them as hard as you want, but in front of the customer, let them know that you've got their back. Another thing that breeds trust is know your own. Know your employees, know your staff, okay? If you have so many staff and might not know their names, that's okay, right? But acknowledge them nonetheless, right? I once had a boss who had 2 nicknames for all the staff. He didn't know our names, but he had one nickname for all the boys, for all the male staff, and one nickname for all the female staff. Okay. And every time he saw you, he would say, hello, and use the nickname. And you know what? That made us feel seen, okay? Because he always greeted you with this nickname. You knew he didn't know your name, but it was okay because he saw you, right? And in this way, the organization had so much trust in him. And, you know, almost to the point of blind loyalty, the kind of loyalty where someone says jump and you ask how high, okay, simply because of that trust. And finally, you need to know your trade. Members, you must be a powerhouse of knowledge in the trade that you are in. You must know your competition. You must keep updated on the new trends within your business line. You must have key relationships in the space. And your employees will then trust that you are the captain, worthy of steering the ship that they are on, okay? There is an admiration that comes knowing that the person at the top knows their trade, a confidence that comes with that. And what all of this does is breed trust. Shield and defend, know your own, and know your trade. So we've gone through these 7 simple ways of creating a long-lasting business, of creating a healthy working environment, of ensuring that your employees maximize their potential, that they add value to your business every day that they come in. All the ways that I have highlighted are not expensive. They're things that you can actually start doing right away, okay? And in so doing, you'll be able to boost the skills of your employees, bring more value to your business, build a legacy, a business that will outlive you, okay? A business that you can be proud of, both as an employer and also when you speak with your peers about what you're doing. You'll be able to proudly speak about your business. So I'd like to thank you so much for listening to me. I hope I haven't taken too much of your time, and I hope that you have found some takeaway points that can help you move your business ahead. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Wow, thanks a lot, Lydia, for that expose on how to maximize. I think for me, what was most fascinating is those are all things in reach. I was a bit, when you talked about colors, I said you really need to repaint the office a bit to cheer up people, but it was so exciting. And I think there were so many simple nuggets that people can be able to take away as they see how they can maximize potential of their staff. I think Millie's hand is already up. I'll give an opportunity to those of you who put your hands up so that we can ask Lydia a couple of questions. Millie, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Lydia, for this inspiring talk. I would like to come back to you on the issue of reward and recognition. Our African culture kind of is bent towards monetary rewards. And especially in this difficult time, I have an example of a staff who every 2 months comes to me wanting a salary increase. And I kind of give him something. Every 2 months, he comes back for a salary increase. How far can I go as far as sustaining this is concerned? And you mentioned that basically a stick will not help us get our staff more innovative. But my staff sometimes do things wrong. And what am I supposed to do? Continue rewarding them, even for the wrong things that they have done? Thank you.
Thank you, Millie, for those questions. I think, Lydia, you'll note them down, then I will take a cycle and then we will ask. We'll respond once. Great. Charles, please go ahead. Charles Lagu.
Yeah, thank you, Ronald, and thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Enterprise Uganda. Lydia, there are some staff, maybe they have stayed 10 years, 7 years, 8 years in an organization. And sometimes attempts are made to train them, but you find them they develop some bad habits because of the environment they have stayed. What will be your advice for those staff? Will they need, for example, need to be changed or what? I'm talking of maybe 4 or 5 staff in an organization who may have perpetually bad habits despite going through what you have guided us through. I need your guidance on that. And lastly from me is the issue of technical skills and soft skills. Will you deepen? Where else will be the emphasis? There are people who are trained, they have technical skills. How deep should it go so that they can enhance their performance? How do we balance with the soft skills? I thought we needed a bridge, a boundary on that. I get your insight on that. Thank you very much, Lydia. That was very insightful.
Thank you, Charles. If there is any other person on this cycle, please put up your hand. Lydia, there are a couple of questions in the chat room. I'll read them out as we wait for the next. I think, this is what, yes, Bruce. Bruce asks, how do you motivate a hardworking staff? Yes. Barbara Ayebare asks, how do you deal with disrespectful staff. How do you deal with those ones? Yes, and I think there was, yes, James Babumba asked, how do you deal with the hardworking employees who are not honest? Super exciting. I think I'll give Dean an opportunity and then you will answer. Dean, please go ahead. Sorry, Dean, you can unmute.
Hello?
Yes, Dean, we can hear you.
Thank you, Nol, for giving me this chance. And Lydia talked so much about the rewards, and the presentation was so insightful. But I really want to also talk about how can we deal with people who are not reaching their targets. For example, in short, punishment, because I think in rewards there should also be punishment. And also, how do we deal with indispensabilities? Those workers who have been rewarded to the fact that they feel that they are indispensable. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dean. Great. I think I'll just throw in this one, Lydia, then ask you to respond. How and this is from Carol Amoding. I would love to hear about performance appraisal. How do you appraise performance? Possibly you can touch on that, and then we will have another cycle if time allows.
Okay, thank you very much, Ronald and members, for the questions. Millie, about the African culture always seeking monetary recognition, please do not set these sort of precedences, okay? Because you have other staff. So this one person who keeps coming back for a salary increase every 2 months is really not being fair, okay? The organization is also being hit by the economy. It's not just him, okay? So don't set a precedence that you will not be able to maintain. You see, he's coming back every 2 months. How much longer can this go on? Always use the, if you don't know how to stop it, always use the accountant, the finance person. The finance person says no more. If the finance person is the one that has been giving, you know, these, if you're still stuck at that point, bring in the board. People blame the board for everything. If you're the business owner, say, you know what, we now have a board of directors and these sort of things cannot continue. And really, ideally, you should have a board of directors, because what they also do is they protect you in many ways, for example, from things like this. Okay. Charles said, staff, been there for 10 years, you've trained them, but they have perpetual bad habits. Again, Charles, what we can do here is performance reviews. That's why I asked that we always keep a record of a track record of courses, training that these people have done. Okay. Of course, once you've done training, there are things we expect you to have changed as a result. They are learning outcomes and takeaways from every training that you do. Okay. So in the performance review, and do not be afraid of performance reviews, my dear leaders. In the performance review, highlight these things, and do not be afraid of letting someone go if they're not performing the way they should. Okay. You spoke about, Charles, you spoke about technical skills versus soft skills. And I think the question was around, how do we grow both of them? What I didn't tell you is that I'm an engineer by training. Engineers have the worst soft skills. I can confidently say that. And so you need to avail training for them, because they'll be very good technically. And yet their soft skills will be lacking so badly, they can actually cause some really drastic downfalls in your organization. So train them in both the technical skills and the soft skills. Charles, I hope that answers that. Bruce, how do you motivate hardworking staff? Reward and recognition. Everybody really understands the times. Okay. So if they cannot get a substantial reward for their hard work, explain it to them. And if they are understanding stuff, they will understand. But then also it's pertinent that the person at the top is not saying there's no money to reward you and yet they're rewarding themselves. Then that's not fair. So it should be in line with exactly how the company is performing. In these tough times, we have seen some organizations that are thriving. Good for them. Yeah. So don't be one of those organizations that is thriving. Your employees can see that you're making the money and then you're coming back here and telling them, yeah, you know, you've done really well, but we're doing badly and won't be able to do anything for you. So it's a delicate balance there. Barbara, what do you do for disrespectful staff? You have to have a code of conduct. Okay. You need to be able to draw the line when people get disrespectful. I think someone else, I think it was Dean, who said, what do you do for people who feel they're indispensable? Members, if you are not the owner of a business, and sometimes even business owners can be thrown out, but if you are not the owner of a business, they can let go of you. Do not be mistaken. Okay. We all know that anyone could have an accident on their way home. What happens then? They replace you. So nobody is indispensable. Don't allow any of your staff to feel that way, to feel that they're indispensable. Your organization can continue to run without anyone, because the way life is, anybody could die anytime, any day. Okay. So there is absolutely nobody in this life that is indispensable. And that's the same way you deal with hardworking employees that are not honest. You have a code of conduct. You give them warnings. If they continue to, not heed the warning, you have to let them go. What is most important is the progress, is the success of your business. Do not let anyone tear your business down because you feel that without them, you will no longer be able to perform. You will be amazed. They might actually be the stumbling block. These hardworking yet dishonest people, these indispensable people who have been here for 10 years, they might be the stumbling block to even greater progress for your work. And then, Caro, about performance appraisals, it's important that you have, you need to know what your goals are for the organization. And then once you know what your goals are and how you get your goals is what is your vision? What's your mission for the organization? And then work backwards, breaking that down as you go backwards and identify what the goals are. And then as you prepare the performance appraisal, have a form, okay, with key elements that that you use to rate your performance or your employees' performance. So is it important for you to answer the phone, maybe, for your sort of business, for your line of business? Is it important for you that you get good customer feedback? All those sort of things. Make sure that you have those detailed out in a form, and then have a rating for them. Is it poor, good, very good, outstanding, that sort of thing, and have that rating for them, and make sure that you can take all those key points through that rating. All right, Carol, I hope that helps. Ronald, I think I've answered the questions in this first round.
Yeah, I think let me give Monday an opportunity. Robert, please go ahead.
Good morning, good people. My name is Robert from My Mall Shopping and My Mall Property. I'm glad we have a new branch on Entebbe Road near Kenjoy Supermarket. Mine is not a question, but it's just a supplement. I think we need, as SMEs, to create these policies in place when it is still early, these HR policies, so that you don't get yourself attached to people. You get yourself attached to the business itself. You need to understand that people die and people go. So you might say, I need this person, he has been so good, but we need to create a policy and trainings in place earlier so that people, even if there's someone leaves, at there is an associate. And actually, it is very advisable to employ 2 people to do the same job. You have a senior and you have an associate. When the senior leaves, at least an associate. If not, you combine the positions, but you make sure there is another person who can do that. Thank you. That was my add-up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert, for that addition. Please, if you have a couple of questions, please don't hesitate to put up your hand, and I'll give you an opportunity to ask. Let me just see what we have in the chat box. Great. I think one of the... Oh, yes, this is Lucia who sent the question. I think for me, one of the questions, Lydia, which I had was, especially when dealing with tight budgets and like in the season which we're in, most SMEs want to much more from their employees, yet sales are just not going up. So it's kind of you are caught between a hard place and a rock, and you really want to reward your staff, but you don't feel like you can because of the resources you have. What kind of things do you specifically do when you are in this corner where, so I know that during COVID, a number of people had to release some of their staff. They had to cut pay, but they expect the staff to do much more. What kind of tips can you give someone who is caught up in that crisis?
Okay. Yes, that crisis is quite common right now. It's cutting across the board. It's not just SMEs, actually. Everybody's feeling the pinch. I have found that there are simple things that are working for some organizations that, you know, their staff are feeling appreciated. I'll tell you, there's this one organization I know, they just gave, and they did, I think it was just some posho, rice, and sugar. 3 things that every single household will appreciate. It didn't cost them much. You buy a sack, pack it up into smaller bags, and give each of your employees. Everybody, even those who call themselves the most sophisticated in that organization, everybody appreciated that gesture. So there are simple things that we can do. We also need to accept that the profit margins have to come down as business owners. Okay, our profit margins have to come down as we carry our staff through this difficult time. It's hard for us, it's hard for them too. If you're feeling the brunt, you know, of fuel, imagine how much worse it is for your employees. Okay, so extend grace. I know a lot of people are allowing people to work from home a few days. If your staff have reached that level, or if your organization can allow for it, then allow them, extend that grace to them, because we're all trying to get through this time and things are looking up. It's going to get better for sure. As a person of faith, I know for sure that the times are going to get better. But during this period, let us all work together as business leaders to carry our staff through. You know, you don't want to lose your staff. You've got key staff there, hardworking, innovative, doing all the things that they should do, okay? And you're struggling because you don't feel that you're rewarding them enough. They understand, they see, but be fair in how you go about these things. Be fair, always be fair.
Great, thanks a lot for that. I guess I like the sugar and my boss as a owner. That's a good one to add to the list of things they're giving. But anyway, I think it's. I think you kind of place it in a way that we need to find solutions even amidst the complex periods. And I like that last bit that businesses are looking up. I think for me, for the entrepreneur, you have the responsibility to be the optimist in the business, because the rest of your employees need to find hope and strength in you. And it's very critical for you as the employer to actually create an environment where there is hope. And I think the words you say, the messages you give to your employees are critical during this period. Bella, I see your hand up. Bella, please go ahead and ask.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lydia and the Enterprise Uganda team. Sorry, I joined in a little late, but I'm really interested in maybe consulting Lydia further, if you don't mind, if her contacts can be shared with us. Thank you. That's what I would have. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Bella, thank you. I think Ronald and his team will take care of that.
Yeah. Yes,
Yes,
we will share the presentation and also send you an email. Lydia, possibly if you could just post your email address in the chat box also, and
Sure.
that will be sent to everyone who registered.
Okay.
Great. Lovely. Let me see a couple of, yes, Lydia has shared her Lydia has shared her contact in the Nakato. Nakato, yes. Sarah, wonderful. Sarah Kabahuma, wonderful discussion. Thank you, Lydia. That's feedback from Sarah, who is on the call. I see a number of comments just appreciating the discussion which we have been having. Yes, I think, yes, that's from, thank you from Charles, thank you from Irene. I was just trying to read through our
Ronald, Lucia
comments.
says she has a question. I missed it probably in the chat.
All right. Lucia,
you know what it was?
Lucia, possibly you can, I didn't capture Lucia's question. I've seen her question. Let me see where Lucia is. Lucia, do you want to ask your question? Yes. All right. I'm asking Lucia to unmute. Let's see, possibly she'll come on. Emmanuel says
Hello?
it's, yes, Lucia, we can hear you.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
You're most welcome.
And Leonard. I'm called Lucia Namubiru. I have a factory which makes nice and unique sweaters. When I was starting the business, I got a consultant. It was hired by a certain NGO, and they sent to me that consultant. When he came to my workshop, he advised me to get a manager. He brought someone, he told me he was from university. He found him from the university in Chambogo. He was training there. He brought that guy. I had to pay him 300,000 shillings per month. I was new in the business. Now, the guy was not working well. He might come within a week, 3 days. When I talk to him, he will work. Let alone, he told me he had an experience in textiles and knitting. But when he came, it was my guys who trained him. Let alone, I didn't know that he was his brother. He told me just found someone. But to my surprise, they lost a father. My supervisor lost a father one day. Then I went to for my surprise, I found that consultant was the, you have told me that this one is your brother. Let alone, I realized that the guy just came to learn my business. See about consultants. How can we get genuine people who have not come to steal our ideas? From that time, I would like to get another consultant, but I fear them. How can you advise me?
Lucia, you're at the right place. Enterprise Uganda. That's the answer. Talk to Ronald. You're in the right space.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks,
sorry
Lucia.
about that
I think
experience.
Lucia's actually. No, I think, Lydia, I wanted you to actually speak to Lucia about not just the selection of who advises in your business, but also this bit. I think there was a question about what happens when you feel employees are stealing your business idea. And I've heard this from many entrepreneurs. And there is that fear that if I get people to understand my business, they'll run away with it. What would be your mind to that as you answer Lucia's question?
Okay, thank you, Ronald.
Good question, thank you.
Okay, Lucia. Ronald, thank you for that. You know, I'm always encouraged by Reham. Reham entered the Uganda market. We had Pepsi Cola and we have Coca-Cola, very strong, internationally recognized brands. And Reham wasn't worried about that. They entered the market, they're making their sodas, which are very sugary, even more sugary than the Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola, the Pepsi and Coca-Cola brands. But they have made a dent in the refreshment industry. Okay, so never be afraid of someone coming in and taking your trade secrets. Make sure that you have firm structures in place. No competition is going to bring your business down as long as you have firm structures in place. There's more than enough room for different textile industries, Lucia. They were there before you joined. There will be more to come. They will try and steal your business ideas. That happens all the time. You know, the Coca-Cola recipe is guarded. I don't know under what sort of protection, you know, it is, they guard it so securely. And yet people have been able to make you know, duplicates, replicas of the same taste. Okay. And Coca-Cola hasn't gone under. These organizations have continued to thrive. So Lucia, never be afraid of competition. Don't worry about someone taking your trade secrets, your structures, your work ethic, the person that is you. You'll find that there are people who will continue coming back to you simply because of your customer service, simply because of, you know, the loyalty they have to you as their supplier. So don't worry about that. Continue to focus on your quality, have the correct structures in place, and run the business in a way that is, what word is that? In a moral way, okay? In an upright way. Yes, like Abdallah is saying, we can feel the bitterness and disappointment, Lucia, and I am so sorry about that experience.
Well, thank you, Lydia. I think as you have rightly put it, and possibly Abdallah touched on the same, it's the pain which entrepreneurs feel where they feel they have poured their hearts out to an employee only to find them opening a business next
in the very same trade.
Saying that can't government arrest this fellow, and really for the pain they have taken me through. But as you have rightly put it, you have to keep fight business even amidst that environment. Abdallah, I don't know whether you want to add something to that.
Okay, thank you so much. I was actually forced to respond about the lady who has just expressed her disappointment. So many so-called consultants, you find that they are preaching actually what they don't do. They are saying they are business consultants, but when you do a background check, you find these are people who have not even done any business. So I think if someone is saying is a consultant, it should be preaching what they do. If someone is coming to give me a service in terms of consultancy, maybe I personally, I need to do a background check, see if someone is doing what they are preaching. Much as Some people may be good consultants are not doing, but in most cases, it's better someone is doing what they are saying that they are good at. I think we need to, as the lady is saying, she needs help, and I think Ronald, you have a very big task to do. Otherwise, she will be disappointed every now and then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abdallah. I think I totally hear you. As business people, you want to make sure you are getting the right services from the right person, and I think it's important to appreciate that. If, for example, you're bringing in someone on finance, you need to know whether they have an understanding of that area where they want to support you. If you're talking about marketing, is that person qualified in that area? But I think there's also one interesting perspective to Lucia's question, which I felt coming out, the idea that you need to, as a business owner, still retain the decision-making power. Because a time comes, I mean, the consultant comes in to give you advice here and there, but fundamentally, you need to know that this remains your decision. You are the business owner, you are the one running the show, and you need to make sure that you retain responsibility for that decision. So even as a business owner, the advice is really a guidance, but you make the shots and you make the calls, and that's why you retain that position in the driving seat. And it's important that that certainly works out. Lucia, I'll certainly reach out and we have a further conversation on this. And it's something which we will be able to see how we can work together to move. Lydia, we have had a lovely time. I just want to give you a couple of minutes to give any closing remarks and just say thank you for what we have had. A lot of nuggets in there, and it has come through in the comments. So please just take a couple of minutes to just give us your final remarks.
Well, thank you, Ronald. I thought I had. So really my parting remarks would be, any business thrives on the strength of its staff. Okay. And our staff thrive on things like recognition and reward, on things like being treated fairly, fair remuneration. Those are the things that will carry us through and lead us to great success. So as business leaders, let us be fair. Let us use the structures that are in place. Enterprise Uganda has so many amazing courses, so many people in there that can help guide you through these things, that can help you put structures in place, that can help you with different issues like the ones that Lucia is finding she has now. So let us remember that there is help, and the help that we should seek should come from reputable organizations. Any business, money makes money, so do not be afraid to spend money, to make money. And of course, before I go, please engage a coach in this business journey that you're on. They will help you find solutions to so many things that you're going through. It's amazing. You will find solutions to so many issues that you're going through. And the solutions lie within you, but sometimes it takes someone on the outside looking in to help you find those solutions. Otherwise, thank you so much for staying on the call for this long. Thank you for listening to me and for your very thoughtful and insightful questions. And Ronald, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great. Thanks a lot, Lydia. We have had a wonderful time, very, very insightful. Lydia has shared her heart with us. As she has mentioned, she's